Hello, and welcome to another edition of Kick Pass Punch, the podcast YouTube show that has changed direction and now requires one of us to walk in front of the camera to begin
every time we
and
begin.
end each show.
Apologies. There's no way around that. As I start from the other side, which I should probably do next time. Well, moving on.
So we have a few things to talk about. First, and we will get to our WrestleMania coverage and as closer to the end of the show, but I will say that once again at WrestleMania, the Predictions World Championship belongs on the other side of the table. Malcolm won handily, I would say.
Nah, it was one off. I was only one off.
I thought it was 3-1.
Nope, 3-2.
3-2 in the
Because
contestant.
I took Liv and Raquel, which was
right.
not smart, but.
Well, yeah, but you didn't know the actual opponents at the time. So
I also didn't know that Bayley was attacked.
that's what I mean.
Exactly.
Right.
I think if Bayley had been in the
No
match,
one knew.
If it wasn't for,
Yeah. So we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll talk about WrestleMania, but we are less than 72 hours away from, though I am like 2,000 miles away from the NFL draft taking place Thursday night in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I will be in Los Angeles during the draft, which means that it's taking place at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So this is one of those situations in which I don't know anything about the NFL draft, but I do have opinions about the NFL draft. But you, I think, actually know some stuff.
Yeah. Except for offensive linemen, I don't know anything about offensive.
Okay, fair enough. So I don't have. So I guess I'll just start with up front. Tennessee has a number 1 pick. First, do they keep that pick or do they trade that pick?
They've already posted they're keeping it.
Okay. Are they taking Cam Ward? Have they said they're taking Cam Ward?
They have not said they're taking Cam Ward, but they're taking Cam Ward. That can be, you can etch that into the wall.
Okay. So Cam Ward is the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want to go pick by pick.
Right.
First of all, well, how do you feel about Cam Ward? I have never seen Cam Ward play football. So, is Cam Ward worthy of being the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I think my closest comparison that I could give is Jaden Daniels.
Huh? Okay. Well, that would be good.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he doesn't have Terry McLaurin to throw to, but
is Cam Ward the number 1 pick in the draft because he is the best player in the draft, or because the Titans need a quarterback more than they need anything else? Or both? Or neither?
I don't believe that he's the best player in the draft.
Okay.
But I do believe they're going to take him because they need a quarterback desperately.
Wonderful. That leads to the next question.
Okay.
Who is the best football player in the 2025 NFL draft?
Travis Hunter.
That
or Abdul Carter.
Okay. So see, now you're talking Abdul Carter. I don't know. Abdul Carter from Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
Abdul Carter is offensive line?
Outside linebacker.
Outside linebacker. That's not the same thing at all?
Nope.
I would have said that Travis Hunter is the best player in the draft, and that's because people talk about him most, and he won the Heisman.
Right.
I do know that he plays as a wide receiver and cornerback, defensive back.
Corner.
We would say cornerback.
I think so. I think I'd go.
He doesn't play safety, right? He just plays cornerback. Okay. I do know that he said that if he is drafted by a team that will not let him play both positions, he will quit football and not play football at all if he can't play both sides of the ball. Question 1. Would he do that?
No. No.
That's crazy, right?
I think he'd request a trade.
Ooh, okay.
I think if he got there the first day and they said you can't play both sides, he'd request a trade immediately.
Okay. Now, so I saw something that I don't know if this is true. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but that Colorado was the only school that said you can play both sides. Like, that they committed they committed to him before he committed to them that he would be allowed to play on both sides of the ball. That they were the only school that said that. Have you heard that? Is that true?
I've never heard that before. Something I do know about Colorado recently, the retirement of both jerseys of Shadur and Travis. They retired both. They retired 2 and 12 in honor of Travis and Shadur, who were only there from between 2023 and 2024.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Like,
they both went to Jackson State and then transferred there for 2 years. They played there for 2 years.
What did they win?
Nothing.
Why? I don't understand. Why are they?
Because
they're just sucking up to Dion. They're just sucking up to Coach Prime and being like, please stay here. Right? That's what that's about, right?
Well, yeah. I think Prime will stay there for 1 more year. And then he'll leave.
Oh, wow. So they're sucking up to him for no reason.
Oh, yeah. No, I think he'll go to the NFL.
Okay.
But I think he's going to wait until... If the job that Shadur or Travis, most likely Shadur, is playing at, if the job opens up this offseason, maybe he'll take it. But I don't think that... I think he'll wait until that job opens up. So whether that be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
Okay.
However long.
All right. Well, let's keep digging down this rabbit hole then. Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Where does he end up?
Cleveland.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Okay.
I think we're very close to being able to edge that into the wall, too.
Interesting. Okay. I have seen scenarios in which Tennessee trades back with Cleveland.
To 2?
So that Cleveland can take Cam Ward. So that they can definitively move on from Deshaun. Based on your analysis, okay, so let's say the haul is this. Obviously, we're switching number 1 picks this year. What you get in what Tennessee gets in return is next year's Cleveland first round pick.
It's not enough.
You need more than that.
You need more than that. I think you need next year's first, second, and this year's fourth.
Wow. But if Tennessee is willing to make the deal, that means they've already decided that Cam Ward is not their guy.
Right. So get enough value. Just get value.
Sure.
Just pretend like if you really don't want him. I don't think this is gonna happen.
But if I'm Tennessee and you're Cleveland and you're having this conversation with me, you're engaged in Tennessee, I already know. Or if I'm Tennessee, or I'm sorry, if you're Tennessee and I'm Cleveland, I already know that you've decided Cam is not your guy, or you wouldn't even be having this conversation. So why would I offer that package?
So I'm Tennessee, or you're Tennessee? Am I the Tennessee manager and you're the Cleveland manager?
I'm Cleveland.
Yeah.
No. I'm Tennessee, you're Cleveland.
Okay.
We're having this conversation. You want my pick.
Right.
You think I'm taking Cam Ward, number 1.
Right.
You want Cam Ward, number 1.
Right.
If I'm willing to have the conversation with you about giving you the number 1 pick, that means I have questions about Cam Ward.
Well,
otherwise, I wouldn't even have the conversation. I'd just be like, no.
That's what you would think about with the Panthers trade, too.
No, but there were questions. No, like, who would go 1, who would go 2 was a real debate back then. Right? And trading up, you still weren't exactly sure which one they were going to take. Yeah, but they're not going to.
Probably. They might.
I will eat that soccer ball.
If Tennessee changes.
If Tennessee takes Shedeur Sanders number 1 overall, I will eat that soccer ball.
You'll eat a different soccer ball because that one's signed.
I will eat one of the ones you've been kicking around with your stinky cleats and gloves.
Okay. That felt like a shot.
Because we both know that's not going to happen.
Kind of hoping it happens now.
Yeah. But you also know it's not.
It's not going to happen. But
okay. All right. So, where does Shedeur Sanders go? Where does he end up going?
Shadur ends up going.
Let's look at the order. It is Tennessee, Cleveland, Giants, Panthers, Jags, Raiders, Jets, Panthers, Saints, Bears. That's top 10.
We stopped you at 6 in Las Vegas.
You think he goes to Las Vegas?
I believe he will go to Las Vegas.
All right.
The Patriots don't need him. Wait, okay. So
I have seen a lot of mock drafts. Most mock drafts that I have seen have Genty going 6 to the Raiders.
Taste doesn't have Shadur going until 9.
Yeah.
I could see that. It's Raiders if the Raiders pass up on him, it's Saints. And if the Saints pass up on him, then it's...
Oh, I think it is.
If the Raiders pass up on him, it's the Steelers.
Steelers, 21. I think he goes all the way to 21.
But Jackson Dart is going to the Steelers. That is correct. That I believe is right. Jackson Dart will go to the Steelers, 21.
We'll talk about Jackson Dart in a minute. But you think that Shadur Sanders is a top 10 pick?
Yeah.
If you're betting your money.
Yeah. If I'm betting my money, Shadur Sanders is a top 10 pick.
Okay.
I'd be shocked if he wasn't.
All right, Ashton Genty. Am I saying his name correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Top 10 pick?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where?
So that had him going to the Jags. I don't agree.
Was that at 5?
At 5. I don't agree with that. They have Travis. The Jags have Travis Etienne. I think they're fine. So, are you going down or down? Okay. So, who's at 6? The Raiders. Who's at 7? The Jets. 7 or 8. To either the Jets or the Panthers.
Okay. Put yourself on record. Should Ashton Genty be a top 10 pick?
Yeah.
1 year from now, will we say, "Yep, that was the right call"? Like, as a rookie, will he establish himself to the extent that people who say right now, there are a lot of people who say you are crazy for taking a running back in the top 10. Will he prove them wrong in year 1?
No.
Will he prove them wrong by year 5?
If he gets traded. Those teams' O-lines suck. No offense to those O-lines, but they're not good.
Okay.
The Jets O-line and the Panthers O-line are not good. We saw it with Bryce Young. Not good. Breece Hall is a Jet still. Correct?
As far as I know.
Then he is not going to the Jets. Never mind. Okay, so Panthers or Bears is now my establishment. If he goes to the Bears, then yes, I think he will be good in year 1. Because our O-line is shaping up to be pretty decent.
Okay, so, all right, so let's move on. Let's just talk about the Bears now.
Okay.
Because that's really what I want to talk about. So right now, who do you think the Bears will end up with at pick 10?
I think they'll they'll end up with an offensive lineman. I hope it's Tedero McMillan, though.
Okay. Is it Ty Warren? Is he the... Yeah, Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren.
The Penn State tight end. I've seen quite a few draft picks that end up with him. What do you know about that kid?
I'm going to be honest, not very much.
Okay. I've been told that Ben Johnson has ran a lot of schemes in Detroit with multiple tight ends in his formation. So Cole Kmet, Ty Warren. Interesting.
Correct. Also, though, I could see a world where North Carolina, their running back, I don't know his name, but their running back could be our pick at number 10.
Okay. So
because Ben Johnson likes the 2 running back system.
Yeah. Sure. Yep, absolutely. So then let me ask this. You understanding that the Bears have the number 10 pick, what is the best case scenario for you? Well, what is the guy that you hope falls to the Bears? Like, if you could get the guy you want out of this draft onto the Bears, who is that player?
Tedero McMillan.
Who plays?
Arizona.
What position?
Wide receiver.
Oh, really?
He's good.
But with DJ Moore and Rome already on the roster, they're going to put another wide receiver on the roster.
Okay, let me restate that. If I could have anybody I wanted.
Yeah.
Abdul Carter.
That's the guy you take.
That's the guy I want.
Okay.
But he's not going to fall.
He's not going to fall.
He's not going to fall.
Yes.
Unless something insane happens tonight or tomorrow.
Right. the guy in the gas mask bong video comes out 48 hours before the draft.
I don't even think we'll take him anymore. That happened. God.
It's legal here. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think Ashton Genty is probably the most I think is the most interesting first round pick. I do, because all conventional wisdom says you don't take a running back this early in the first round at this point in the NFL.
But Saquon Barkley says otherwise.
Yeah, but he's not a rookie.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So, does he go in the top 10? Because I've seen drafts that have him falling to the late 20s or even early second round.
I can't see that. I can see him falling out of top 10. I can't see him falling out of top 15.
Okay.
If he falls out of top 10, which I don't think he will, but if he does, he'll get picked up by the Cowboys at 12.
Okay. This is a tough one. Who is the player who's going to sit in the green room way longer than he's supposed to? Like, which player is going to become the story of, wait a minute, this guy was supposed to have already been drafted, and he's still sitting here?
Let me see some of the guys that are projected here. Um. I.
By the way, for me, it's Shadir Sanders.
I could see that.
I don't think he's a first-round draft pick. I don't think he gets drafted in the first round.
You don't think Shadir Sanders gets drafted in the first round?
I don't think he gets drafted in the first round.
That's bad. Will Johnson or Jackson Dart?
That's the other guy, yeah. Who is Will Johnson? I don't know who that is.
The Michigan cornerback.
Okay.
That I said would be the best player to come out of this draft a few weeks ago. So.
All right.
I wouldn't be shocked if he falls out of the first round.
All right.
I think it's easy to say we will not get a draft like last year where we don't have a defensive player taken until like 15. Was it last year? 15?
I think it was, yeah.
When the first defensive guy was drafted?
All right. So, I'm not. I don't think. I mean, I like the Bears picking 39 and 41 in the second round. I think that's great. I think.
I didn't realize the Giants had 24, by the way. So they could get Jalen Milroe there or Jackson Dart.
I think there's a real possibility of the Bears trading back out of 10 and take so my understanding is this is actually a pretty good running back draft class.
Yeah, it's a good running back draft class. It's a very good one.
And I could see the Bears trading back and taking a running back later in the first round.
Yeah, I think that UNC guy will fall. I think that UNC guy could fall all the way to 32.
I've seen some
he could definitely be a second round pick, third round pick even. But he's good enough to be first.
Some running back out of Iowa?
Yep.
Going to the Bears at 39 or 41.
Yep.
So
I forgot we had. Yeah.
All right. All right. So that was a full 30 minutes on the NFL draft.
Oh. That's okay.
So I have one MLS question before we move on
to
a WrestleMania recap. You're standing in goal. The other team takes possession of the ball at the far end of the field.
Oh my
and as
God.
they begin to counterattack towards you, the referee trips one of your players.
It was a trip that started a counterattack. The ball was passed to him and he got tripped and it stopped him from going and getting it.
So my question is, if you watched the referee trip one of your players that directly led to a goal being scored against you, what would your reaction be?
I'd probably get up in his face.
So I don't think that's the reason the Fire lost that game.
I do.
But that was bad. Like,
so stupid.
I mean,
it ended 3-2.
I don't understand how you don't stop play when you literally tripped a player during a counterattack. Like, in that moment,
starting a counterattack.
in that moment of the game, like, there are moments in which you might trip a player, but
it doesn't really mean it doesn't cause anything.
Yeah.
But that directly impacted the play.
It directly impacted the play, for sure. So I don't have a lot of other MLS thoughts on the week because I didn't watch any MLS this week beyond the Fire game because it was WrestleMania weekend.
It was.
So, what is your number one top take on WrestleMania? Your 30-second, your tweet length review, if you will, of WrestleMania 41.
Okay. Jacob Fatu was the right pick. The Barbie entrance was really cool.
Yeah.
Tiffy deserves to be champ.
Yeah.
Stone Cold not only missed the ramp the first time, but also hit the barricade.
Yeah.
Did you see that clip?
Yeah,
of him missing the ramp?
Maybe on your tweet length.
Well, whatever. I'm speaking, not tweeting. John Cena's ruining wrestling. Seth Rollins is a Paul Heyman guy. Becky Lynch is back. Io Sky is still champ. Good match.
Paul Heyman was the representative of Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
He was the advocate for Roman Reigns.
Then the wise man for the tribal chief.
And then the wise man for the tribal chief.
Tribal council for the tribal chief. Then.
So what will he be for Seth Rollins? I will tell you my favorite.
My
favorite answer to this question that I've seen today was the man's man.
He's not gonna come out every day and say that.
I know, but it would be really
My
funny.
name is Paul Heyman, and I am the man's man.
Unless Becky is standing there.
Becky joins.
And he could be like, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the man's man.
And then Braun Breaker's just standing there like,
who am I?
I can't say that. I was gonna say a new character for Braun Breaker, but I don't think I can say it.
Then you probably should.
I probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's address the elephant in the room. Many people very disappointed in the John Cena Cody Rhodes match. What is your position on the John Cena Cody Rhodes match?
Oh my god. That is the single worst main event I've ever seen. That was so bad. It was awful. John Cena is now your most winningest world champion in history, thanks to Travis Scott. That's stupid. It's awful. That's awful. There's no excuse for that. Hunter doesn't have an excuse for that. There's nothing you can say that can change my mind about how awful that was.
Counterpoint. I understand I can't change your mind, but I would tell you why I believe you are wrong.
I'm not. But go ahead.
It is the story they're telling.
It's the story's gonna make me change the channel every time I'm watching it.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, because John Cena...
To bring out Travis Scott one more time.
John Cena was awesome last night. He was awesome last night.
You know who wasn't there? Travis Scott. Oh my God. He's not going to win number 17. Is that Fiend playing? Here comes Travis Scott to win John Cena the title. Tomfoolery.
Travis Scott did nothing to win John Cena the title. Cody Rhodes was a stupid moron. So, this is what
he was being a distraction. You're talking about he did nothing.
But that had nothing to do with the finish. Had nothing to that's the thing. The distraction did not lead to the end result. The end result was John Cena and Cody Rhodes doing tug of war over the belt, and then John Cena kicking Cody Rhodes in the dick and winning the match. Because Cody...
And who winning the match? Fenn? Who is Fenn?
Cena. Cena with the match. Because Cody decided he couldn't decide whether or not to hit John Cena with the belt. The same Cody Rhodes who Alabama slammed Kevin Owens through a table.
Through a ladder?
Through a ladder. Sorry, through a ladder.
This guy goes... What is that? What is... Like, why did he go... He looked so disappointed that he couldn't use it.
Yeah. But
So...
again, that has nothing to do with Travis Scott.
Ooh.
Now, I will admit, I will give you that I think that WWE screwed this up by allowing people to continue to believe that The Rock was going to show up.
Oh.
That was the mistake. And Travis Scott was never a proper replacement for it. That being said...
He was never getting The Rock heat, bro. It was never happening. He got a pop. He came out and got a pop.
Cody Rhodes, I'm going to ruin wrestling. And then going out and having that match. I think in the long-term story, I think this main event will be remembered more fondly in retrospect than it is right now. That's my prediction. I'm saying I don't think it will be remembered as poorly as it is being received currently. I understand in the moment it's like, what the hell? But this to me is, and I know this is a reference you're not going to understand, but this is Andy Kaufman comedy. This is Andy Kaufman standing on stage when he's supposed to be doing comedy and just reading The Great Gatsby. It's, if you're sitting there in the audience, you're like, this is terrible. I came to see a comedy show, and this guy is just standing on stage reading The Great Gatsby. If you're not in that audience and you're watching it back on video, it is hilarious. Right? I think this is part of that kind of story. Last night, I think they got the details right last night in a way that they didn't even on Sunday. The total blackout of all of the lights, except just the screens that just have his name and the number of appearances.
They messed that up too. Twice. They messed it up 2 times. The 2 times they've done it, they messed it up.
They messed it up last night.
Yeah, they did. They gave him pyro that was like every different color you could think of.
Oh no! No! I again disagree. I think that moment works.
No.
That moment works.
Wrong. I don't agree. Okay, let's move on from this because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
The better main event.
Yes. Seth,
Punk, Roman.
brilliant. 100%. No notes. 10
Cinema.
out of 10. Loved everything about it. Loved it in the moment. Love the fallout from it. We now have a stable of Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker. I believe, honestly, that Becky is going to be part of this stable. And the only thing I have negative to say about that is that there is no way that a stable of Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, and Becky Lynch is going to be a bad guy stable. Like, that's just that's just not going to happen. Like,
well, we saw it. Becky attacked Lyra and got cheered.
Yeah.
She got cheered for it.
Yep, 100%. That's.
But the problem was she kept going back. Like, they were cheering for her to go back, and then she went back again. She just kept going back. Like,
yeah, she should have said no. And then they might have booed her if she was like, no, I'm not going back. Or if she'd gone back and pretended like she was going to do it and then didn't do it. Then maybe she would have got booed. But she didn't. She just kept going. I just don't see it, how she's going to get booed. I just don't.
I'll tell you who deserved to get booed. Gunther.
Gunther got booed. Beating up announcers.
Choked up both of them. He choked out Michael, and then Pat saved him, and Pat's going to be off TV for a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
Watching that, I was like, no, they're getting rid of Pat for a few weeks. I like Pat.
Yeah.
Pat's that I'm watching wrestling at my house. He talks about, he commentates like he's watching it on the couch at his house.
Yeah.
That's my take.
New Day, new tag team champions. I do not understand debuting Rusev in the tag team match setup. I don't get that at all.
They needed a reason to debut.
Unless, I guess if they're gonna go Rusev, Otis.
But he attacked Otis too.
No, I know, but if that's gonna be like if Otis is now gonna come back at Rusev, like if we're gonna get a backlash match that is Otis and Rusev, if that's the first match for Rusev is Rusev Otis, again, big meaty men slapping meat, I'm all for it.
Rusev is jacked.
Yeah, Rusev is jacked. Yeah.
Kairi Sane is jacked. Randy Orton. Says.
Yeah, Randy Orton is not going to beat John Cena for that title in St. Louis. That's not going to happen. But I still want to watch it. I still want to watch the match.
Yeah. It's going to be a great match. Hey, stop spinning
all right.
my chair.
So what is the thing you are the most excited for going forward after Monday, after last night? What is the thing that you're like, yes, I want more of this?
Seth, Braun.
Yeah, the new Dangerous Alliance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seth, Braun,
100%.
Paul.
That's it.
I mean, not a whole bunch happened. Like
no. So you watched all of Raw last night. You watched the whole show.
Yep.
How many matches? In almost a 3-hour show. How many matches were there?
I think there's 3.
3. That's right. There were 3 matches. That's crazy.
I mean, there was.
It didn't feel like that.
There was
I thought
gonna be 4.
I thought it was a great show.
Yeah, it was a really good show.
That was a really good show.
No storylines really advanced except for one. And obviously Becky became a heel. And
Rusev came back, and Julia debuted on the main roster.
I forgot about Julia. That was a great match, by the way.
Yeah.
Stephanie and whatever her name is.
So
Io.
So is that going to be Rhea and Io?
For Stephanie and Julia?
No. Versus. No.
Roxanne and Julia?
No. So, no. Io and Stephanie.
Yes.
Versus.
Yeah.
Rhea.
No.
And.
No.
Julia? Or Julia and Roxanne?
Julia and Roxanne. No, Rhea's not going to be involved with that match.
Then why bring her out?
Because I think Rhea EO3 is going to happen without Bianca at all involved. Because 2 times, Bianca the first time, Bianca the second time, both times screwed it up for Rhea. She did. Bianca pushed Rhea into the apron the first time. Bianca cost Rhea the match the first time.
So.
And then.
But here's the thing. Io, face.
Right?
No question.
Yes.
Stephanie, face.
No question.
No question. Rhea, face.
No question.
No question.
I don't know if Julia is a face or not.
I think after last night, I think she's. So you're right. Yeah, it has to be Julia and Roxanne.
It has to be
and
Julia.
Rhea is not involved, and then why involve her in it? Like, why have her come out? She did the same thing last week. She came out and involved herself in a situation. It was like, I don't know why you're here.
It's to get the pop. It's to get her on the show.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's because they want her on the show.
The stare down with Julia and Rhea was like, oh, I was like, oh yeah, I know, I want that match. Like, I want that. Like, when the two of them staring each other down, and then Julia just like being like, no, I'm gonna bow out.
I'll leave.
I was like, oh yeah, I want that match. I do. Julia should just be on the main roster. At this point,
I agree.
I think at this point, I guess it already happened tonight while we were recording this. Stephanie and Roxanne had their title match. I hope that Roxanne won, and Stephanie is just on the main roster. But based on last night, I don't think that's what's going to happen.
I don't think so either.
Honestly, I think that felt like a tease for Stephanie, but an introduction for Julia.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Julia had a completely different look.
Yeah, she looked completely different.
Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah.
We gotta wrap it up.
Yep.
So I am gone through the weekend, essentially. And we will maybe have time on Sunday to drop an episode with some draft recap, SmackDown recap, and some MLS recap.
I might hop on by myself to discuss the first round of the draft. After it happened, I'm not sure if I will. Probably won't. Maybe will. Kevin is right. Goodbye, folks.